Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the month of June. I'm Marg with Creative Stamping with Marg. Today we have kind of a fun fold card that shows off both sides of the designer series paper. So you don't have to worry about covering up one side or the other. And I have Stampin' Up! News to share. So we'll go down to my desk. Okay, down we go. Here we are. And there's the familiar paper pumpkin flyer that I have been showing you for the month of June. You need to subscribe by June the 10th, which is coming up. And this one is called Full of Charm. It coordinates with these dies that can be an add-on. There's the 2 dies for June. And the number is 166238, and they are $16.50. You get 4 dies, the hugs, these 2, and the label. All right, and this one is coordinating with the Floral Charm Suite collection, which is available to demonstrators for a pre-order and will be available in July for customers. This kit makes 9 cards, 3 of 3 designs. It has envelopes and card bases with gold foil, pre-cut paper pieces, and unique sentiment labels. The ink spot in this one will be Pretty Peacock. So it looks like a really nice one. All right, so that's our paper pumpkin. And then I also have this flyer on my desk. This started June 3rd, and it's running for the month of June. All sweets and sweet products are buy one, get one 50% off. So you can check that out. There's my website for checking that out, or you can look on here, margaretgorn.stampinup.net. So that's the sale that's going on right now, and there's a lot of sweets included in that sale. Okay, I said we have a DSP fun fold. So this one, I'm just calling it that, a DSP fun fold. I've done it several different ways, but I've seen Kelly Atchison demonstrated this not too long ago, and I liked her version of it. So today I am using the Floral Delight paper and the Floral and Gingham Vellum that went with it. And this was the stamp set that we still have in our catalog, Delightful Wishes, and the dies that go with it. So if you haven't seen this paper, it's the yellow paper. So this is the one that I chose. So like I said, you have to like both sides of your paper because you're going to see both sides. So we are starting with a piece of designer series paper that is 5.5 by 12. So it's the full 12, the full size of the sheet. So from one sheet, you can get 2 of these cards. And we're going to score it at and the way I score it is I do it with the inside facing me. So like this, because this is what I've decided I want on the inside. So 2 1/4, 5.5, and 9 3/4. And you're going to fold it so it ends up looking like this. So you can see that this is centered, this piece is centered, and you have equal pieces on the other side, okay? And then it opens to this. All right, so that's our designer series paper. The piece of vellum I'm using, and I am also using the dies out of Impressions of Blue, and that's this set. Okay, and this is an online exclusive. I used this die, this big oval with the stitching on it for a frame, and then this one is a little bit bigger than the inside of this one, and I cut that out in white. So I have a white piece and I have a vellum piece the same size. That's the vellum I'm using. So it's going to go on the white like that. Okay, and the frame. So the frame is very delicate. It's a bit of a challenge to put on, so you do need your liquid glue. And a cardstock layer for the inside of this card, and this piece is 5 by 3 3/4, and I'm going to put a white piece on top, which is 3.5 by 4.75. And you can see I stamped the corner of it there. And the stamp for the leaf comes from Delightful Wishes right there. Okay. And I've stamped those leaves again 3 times, and there's a die that cuts them out, so we have that. And there's a nice slim label, whoopsie, in this one, and I've stamped just the happy birthday. The words are here, and of course you can use wishing you a happy birthday, but I just wanted happy birthday, so it's nice that you can just ink up that much and just get happy birthday. So that's what I did in Mossy Meadow. Okay, and I did bring some ribbon in. This is online ribbon. It's woven ribbon 1/2 inch white. Ties really nicely, but if you had any ribbon, you can use it. And I just tied it into a bow, so we're going to see how that looks. And I did bring in iridescent pearls to use as my embellishments. So we'll see how all that works out. Now, first things first, I think we can glue. This is the inside, so we'll glue that and put it together in the inside. So this gives stability to your card because you've got this cardstock layer on the inside. I do find the DSP fairly sturdy, but this does help it stand up. And did I say this was Daffodil Delight, the yellow piece that I chose? I was going to use the Mossy Meadow, but it was so dark and I didn't like it in the inside here. So that is going in the inside of my card. I think that looks really nice. So we can glue that right in. Now, if you were going to stamp something on the inside, you would have done it before you glued your white piece in. I'm just going to center this as best we can. Kind of helps that we've got this gingham to work with. Easy to make it nice and straight. And it goes like that. So therefore your card's going to stand up like this. Okay, and it stands very nicely. That gives it a lot of stability with that extra cardstock in it. All right, now let's get this glued on. And if you've seen me use vellum before, this is how I glue it on. I put a puddle of glue on my silicone mat like that. I take a sponge dauber. This is my sticky one that I use for gluing only. And then I just swirl it around on my back of my vellum. And you do want it to be somewhat invisible because I'm not really covering any of this up. So now I want to put it onto my white piece. And it's exactly the same size, so I just need to put it on here and wiggle it around a little bit. And there we go. So you cannot see the glue through there. Then to put this on, and this does have stitching on it, so there is a right and a wrong side. I'm going to lay it down, and I'm just going to carefully, I could maybe use my dauber for this, but I will carefully try to put a bead of glue. Just need to get my glue started here. A bead of glue on this, and I may end up wiping it off a little bit on my silicone mat so that I know it's not going to squish out. And this is the beauty of the silicone mat. If you get glue on it, you can clean it up really easily. Okay, I'm just going to hold it down so I can get some glue around here. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to let it sit there for a minute, if I can get it off my finger, and make sure I've got glue all the way around, like that. I'm just going to let it sit there for a minute. All right, my plan is to put this on top of here, like that. I don't know which way I want it. Maybe that way. And then I'm going to put this on here with these leaves. And I'm just putting it flat down. I'm not putting it up on dimensionals. I will show you another one that I use dimensionals on. Okay, this has had a little time to get tacky. Now I'm going to just move this out of the way, I think, and put this down onto here. And again, this fits right on top of this. Sorry. I have to be careful with it though, because it just fits right on top of that. I did get a little glue on my vellum. We can get that off after, I think. And I'm just going to go around and make sure that I've got this on here evenly. And it's going to stay down. Okay, it's kind of a finicky piece, and I maybe should have done it backwards so we could have looked at it, but I think that looks all right. So that is going to go flat down there like that. I'll just give it a minute to dry, I think. I may put my greeting up on mini glue dots. Let's try that. Okay. That looks good. And we know it's going to go right centered on here, so I am going to just put glue up the center of this like that. And I decided I'm going to put it like that, I think, and I am going to put it right in the middle. I'm hoping I'm getting it somewhat straight here. Looks a little bit off. Okay, just like that. I don't want it to stick there. Okay, there we go. All right, now this, I had visions of this being sort of in the middle there, and it can hang over, but not hang over my card on that side. So let's get some dimensionals on there, not all the way to the end though. Sorry, my fingers are sticky now from that glue. Okay, and I'll put a few on here so that it will support it. Okay, and then we just need to peel off the backs. So we will do that and ready to go. This is a very quick card. Like I say, you could make 2 out of a sheet of the designer series paper. You would get 2 with a little extra left over. Okay, if I'm putting it here, I'm looking at my end, so I don't want it to stick over. That looks pretty good. Just make sure it's not sticking over there. Nope, we're good. Okay, and then the leaves. I thought, I often do this where I take a pencil and I just roll my leaves to give them a little bit of dimension. And I'm going to tuck one on top here. So I'm just going to put a little glue right on my label, just like that. And I'm going to put this one on here, like that. And then I thought I would do the same with these and stick them underneath the label. So they're just like that. So I would put a little bit of glue on the back of this one. That, and I'm going to tuck it. Maybe I'll turn it this way. And your take your pick tool is a really good addition here to tuck that in there so I know it's going to glue down. And then I thought I could put one maybe over there, just like that. So a little glue on the back again, just like that. And I will tuck it, I think, in wherever I don't have a dimensional, to just see where don't I have a dimensional. Oops. I'm having trouble holding on to this. Okay, so let me see. Don't have a dimensional there. So I would tuck it under there like that. Like that. Give it a little dimension. There. All right. That looks good. So there's our basic card. That pretty. Okay, so it opens like that and closes like that and stands like that. So I did bring the bow in, and I thought the bow could go down here maybe. The bow could go up there. Bow could go here. No, I don't think I need the bow. To be quite honest with you, I'm not going to use the bow. All right, and then I'll bring in these pearls, and we'll see if I like this. Okay, they come in 2 sizes. There's this one here, and maybe I'll just tuck them around the leaves here. One there, and then a couple of small ones maybe. Oops. There. All right. So there is our finished card. Quick and easy. A great way to use your DSP. And especially if you like both sides and you hate cutting and gluing down the side that you really like. All right, let's get this cleared off of here. I'm going to need a new piece of paper. I've got it all stayed out. And I will show you the sample card I made out of retired product. So this paper, you probably recognize this paper. Beautiful paper, and it opens like this. And for this one, I used the circles from, what are these? Spotlight on Nature. I had to think about that one. Spotlight on Nature circles. And yeah, I thought this looked really, really pretty. And again, stands up like that. The inside, I did some stamping on the inside. So those are the 2 cards for today. I hope you like that. Like I say, a very easy one, a great way to use up some DSP. If you're like me and hoarding DSP, I've decided now is the time to get rid of it. So that's what I'm doing. All right. All the measurements for the card will be underneath the video. And I think that's it for now. That's all the news I have. Please check the last chance list. There are still lots of items on it. So there's lots of things to be had. And I hope everyone has a great week.